Thank you, Hugh. You're watching South East Today. Our top story tonight. Murdered and dumped in the Qatari desert. The family of Lauren Paterson, fighting for a tougher sentence for her killer, appeal to the England football team for help. And a desalination plant and new reservoirs. Water companies ask for your views on their 50-year plan to manage supplies. Good evening. On the day the England team arrived in Qatar for the World Cup, there's been an emotional appeal to the players from a mother from West Kent whose daughter was murdered in the Gulf state. The badly burned body of Lauren Paterson was found in the desert in 2013. Her killer's death sentence was later reduced to a 10-year prison term. Campaigning for a tougher punishment, Lauren's mother has appealed to the England players to make a gesture in her daughter's memory. Piers Hopkirk reports.
Lauren Paterson was 24 when she disappeared after a night out in the Qatari capital Doha. Her body later discovered burned in the remote desert. For her family, the grief at her death has been compounded by the sentence given to her killer, 10.5 years. Now, with the eyes of the world trained on Qatar, they're urging the England team to show solidarity with what they're calling justice for Lauren.
I really wanted the England players to recognise Lauren. So by showing a sign, if they got a goal, and we said the sign of an L with their hands would be absolutely wonderful. And the reasoning behind this is that we feel that this would be the only time that Lauren has been truly recognised in Qatar.
Lauren was attacked and killed in October 2013. In March 2014, her killer was sentenced to death, but that was later reduced on appeal to 10.5 years. In November 2019, Lauren's family lost a legal bid for a longer sentence in a battle that's seen them travel to Qatar more than 30 times. Legal campaigners say there's a huge disparity in sentencing there.
We have people who are jailed over bounce checks for a decade or more. We have people spending a longer time in prison for drugs-related offences than people who have actually committed a murder or manslaughter. It seems unusual in the West, but that is practice in the Middle East.
Qatar's been a controversial venue for the World Cup, with moral considerations said to be no part of the selection process.
There is no remit within the voting rules for any decision to be made through a moral, human rights or ethical lens.
So with the country under scrutiny as never before, Alison says now's the time to highlight her fight.
I feel that if I keep pushing, maybe, just maybe, they might look at their own justice system and it might help someone else.
In a statement, a Qatari government spokesman said, "We remain committed to enforcing protections for women and providing access to justice. Our thoughts are with the victim's family as they continue to mourn their loss." With the World Cup starting on Sunday, Lauren's family hope their case will find fresh support and new impetus. Piers Hopkirk, BBC South East Today.
4 Albanian nationals have been arrested in connection with a beach landing reported in St Margaret's near Dover yesterday. The National Crime Agency has revealed it has more than 70 live operations into organised immigration crime. It says a significant proportion of those involve Albanian groups, which use small boats to get people into the UK. 2 puppies have been rescued after being shut inside a domestic food waste bin and dumped at a country park. The cockapoos, who are about 8 weeks old, were discovered at Leybourne Lakes Country Park near Snodland. A third dog died, but the RSPCA is caring for the surviving puppies. A vision of how we receive and use water over the next 50 years has been unveiled. The plan is to make sure that our water supply remains robust against climate change predictions, coupled with an increase in demand.
If the plan goes ahead with the investment in the timescales we've talked about, it will mean people can have safe, secure and resilient supplies for the future and a better environment for them and future generations. Absolutely, that's what the plan is all about.
Well, the report by Water Resources South East looks forward to the year 2075, identifying where investment is most needed to reduce the risk of emergency situations like standpipes. Key to the plan is cutting leaks by 50% and a target that each of us uses 40 litres less water every day. There are also proposals to build a desalination plant to convert salt water to drinking water on the Sussex coast, create 2 water recycling plants which turn wastewater into drinking water. Those are planned to go in Aylesford and Peacehaven possibly, and build a new reservoir near Canterbury.
I think what the summer showed us is how challenging the environment is becoming and why these long-term plans are really important. In the summer we activated our drought management plan, and that certainly helped us. Going forward we want to build more resilience, so Broad Oak in the future will definitely provide that resilience.
Now, there's obviously much more to the report than we can cover here, but there is now a 14-week consultation period that's running alongside similar reports by the individual water companies, and everyone's invited to have their say. Time for some football news now, and in tonight's FA Cup first round replay, Gillingham beat AFC Fylde 1-0. It's time for the weather forecast now with John Hammond.
Thanks very much. Very good evening. It's not a very settled outlook, far from it. Some showers rattling in overnight tonight, particularly down towards the coast. Under the clearer to the skies, temperatures will dip down into single figures, but some showers from the word go, and some of them will be quite heavy, again particularly down towards the coast, but nobody immune. That said, there will be some sunshine, lifting temperatures potentially up into the low teens, but we will have to factor in that breeze. The breeze will strengthen further and wet weather will sweep in tomorrow evening. The Met Office has a warning of some really nasty conditions and increasing chance of some flooding. The rain perhaps lingering into Thursday. As I mentioned at the start, the outlook is very disturbed. There might be a window of fine weather as we start the weekend, but that won't last long. Further rain to come, and for most of us it'll feel chillier than it has done.
Those reservoirs will be filling up. Well, Ian Palmer will be here in the morning from 6:30. Good night.